Night, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi has presented a budget estimate of 139 billion naira to the State House of Assembly, tagged a budget of divine mandate, consolidation and continuity. Umahi said his administration would implement 41.67%, while the next administration would implement 58.33% of the budget. The governor explains that the 2023 budget proposal is 4.13% less than the 2022 original budget, and it is aimed at addressing the challenges observed so far in the implementation of the 2022 original budget. Well, he added that the proposed budget will commence the setting up of the two universities of ICT, University at Oferekwe, Easy, and the Aeronautical University at Eza.
We have lifted the face of every Ebonyi man and woman through our transformational projects. We have constructed enduring concrete road infrastructure that has connected the various local government areas, linking streets and roads that now make Ebonyi State a global village. Today, our twin flyovers that connect all the major junctions of the state and road dualization can guarantee profitable investment opportunities and industrialization. We intend that all the ongoing projects shall be completed before we anchor administration exactly on the 29th of May 2023. We shall invest more significantly in empowerment of our people and creating opportunity for private sector investment and partnership that will be a catalyst to our initiative aimed at stimulating self-sufficiency, wealth and job creation, food security and industrialization. Majority of our critical infrastructure will be handed over to the private sector to drive. Our existing infrastructure in health, education, power will receive more attention in the area of equipment, renovation and installation of facilities that will improve their productivities.
Well, let's cross over to Ebonyi State as Governor Dave Umahi joins us on Newsnight. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for being on the news tonight. We do appreciate your time. Well, I guess congratulations are in order. This is your last budget as governor of the state. But when you say budget of divine mandate, consolidation and continuity, I wonder if there was any divine intervention in that naming. But seriously speaking, Mr. Governor, when I look at your IGR, your internally generated revenue, and your FAAC allocation, it does not amount to 139 billion naira. So I'm wondering, how do you want to fund this budget?
Thank you very much. You will also wonder how we've been able to fund the budget of 2022, which is about 125 billion projected. You see, beyond the FAAC allocation, beyond the IGR, we as a state did understand that we are very low in IGR and very low in FAAC allocation. So what we have done is to put very serious efforts in certain programs of the federal government and World Bank. For example, in SafeTas, we've gained a lot of grants, running into multi-billions, which has helped us in a number of ways. Going forward, we are still, up looking for the balance of SafeTas. There have been other, similar programs like that, and we've done very, very well. A number of the parameters, we came first as a state and came second, placed behind my brother and friend, Governor Wike. So these are some of the ways we've managed, to stay afloat and to do the incredibles, in the area of infrastructure, health, education, human capital empowerment, and so on and so forth. So going forward in 2022, 2023, there are also other programs like the SEBA and the RAMP, and similar other programs. So we intend to also compete very well. So these are the intentions, and this is what we've been doing.
And it's interesting to hear you say that you've done, fantastically well in translating the previous budget and, of course, the other ones before now in the lives of the average Ebonyi person. But if you take a look at the list of poorest states in Nigeria, Ebonyi ranks 5th. And I know that Ebonyi State is one of the largest producers of rice in Nigeria, and yet it hasn't really translated in the lives of Ndi Ebonyi. What exactly are those strategies that you say have, transformed the lives of people in Ebonyi State and still remains very poor?
See, when you talk about it's like darkening castle without knowledge. Because when you look at the parameters, when you look at a lot of accolades, you look at a lot of awards, you look at a lot of indices, how could we say to have been that poor, when in terms of ranking for states, that has a sustainability index, Ebonyi State, is among the 5, states, and when it comes to in terms of unemployment, Ebonyi State is still one of the states, has the least unemployed, people, and so on and so forth. And let me also educate you that in Ebonyi State, you can check out the list. 95% of our projects are done by Ebonyi people. Every part of Ebonyi State have infrastructure, it's like a construction site. So our money is circulating within us. And so when anybody comes here and say, oh, Ebonyi State is poor, I don't know what the person is talking about. Because the weight of Ebonyi State stays in Ebonyi State, and where everybody is, working, and the ministries are the ones constructing this infrastructure, turning them, instead of being politicians, we are turning them to, business people, and the money is circulating, the market people are working, the women are working, and so I don't know where anybody got that information, but I can beat the chest and say we have really done very, very well in the life of Ebonyi people.
Mr. Governor, I'm just looking at your breakdown for your budget of divine mandate and consolidation as well as continuity. I'm sorry, I can't get over that name. And I must applaud you. I looked at it, and your capital expenditure gets the larger half of the recurrent. It's not something we see so often. But can you throw more light onto what is taking your capital expenditure? We've seen budgets where buying of computers and laptops make up for capital expenditure. But here you have 58.13% of your 139 billion going for capital expenditure. What would that be for? What's your focus when you say capital expenditure for 2023?
Thank you very much. On the average, in the past 7 years of our administration, our current expenditure has been in the average of about 35. And the capital has been the average of 65. And so for any developing economy, for any nation that is developing, you must give priority attention to infrastructure. Capital project is everything. Capital project is the infrastructure is health, it's education, it's human capital empowerment. And so some of the areas we are giving attention is still the completion of our airport, which we intend to concession. And we expect, capital receipt of about 25 billion from construction of that international airport. And this is the first airport that has its runway made of pure concrete. And so the durability is there. And if you look at the size of the airport, you look at, the infrastructure there, is second to none in this country. So this is one of them. And we also intend to, develop our road infrastructure. You see, without road, it will be possible to achieve anything in education or health. If you can't move from one point to the other, there's no way you can empower your people. And those who darken counsel without knowledge, tend to say, oh, he has done very well the road infrastructure. And what else? Because a man was asked, the parameter for development in India. He said, if you want to empower your people, if you want to, reject the economy, you have to build roads. So road infrastructure is very important to us. And we also have development of teaching hospital in year 2022/2023 is very important to us. And people are so gifted, from the statistics we have in area of ICT. So we intend to develop ICT university, which is in the process of being approved by UC, and we tend to also develop aeronautical engineering university beside the airport. So these are the ways we can use our human resources to compete with those that have oil, and this is the focus.
It's very interesting to note. Let's talk politics a little. You've been described by opposition party in your state as an emperor imposing some 5 million naira fee for the use of schools and other public places. As a matter of fact, opposition are saying you're not even, providing a level playing field for them to campaign or to carry out their political activities. I wonder what you have to say about that.
Let me say that I'm encouraging opposition. In the past, I've encouraged them. Even election, I have had to give them money because I like somebody who will tell me that my clothes is torn. But regrettably, there is no opposition in Ebonyi State. You have haters and falsehood, spreaders. That's the kind of thing you have. You don't have people that can say to engage constructively in realities. Just darken counsel without knowledge. Let me explain something about the issue of the order that we made concerning holding rallies in schools and the market. And let me say that we are not the first to make such order. But people that think that they can take over the state with falsehood and hate speeches, they have to think twice because it's not going to happen. So what we said is that from experience, when you hold rallies in schools, where you have boarding schools for women, there have been cases of rape. That is on one side. When you hold rallies in schools, infrastructure that destroy the chairs, the schools, the classes that are destroyed, and then defecation is, happening everywhere. That they have no control measures, where people defecate, and then the pure water, sachets, litter everywhere. And so what we are saying is, look, when a school is in section, please don't go to hold rally there. And totally, we ban holding rallies in girls' schools. We don't want you to go and hold rallies in girls' schools. But in other schools, you can hold rally, provided the school is not in section. And we are saying, look, you've got to deposit money, so that, and it is refundable, deposit, and it's in our, executive order. And when you hold rally and you finish your rally, you make sure you've not destroyed any infrastructure. You make sure that you clean the environment, and then you collect your money. And we've said to the Commissioner of Education, do not unduly withhold any, assent when they apply. So it is the law of the state. And in addition, and they can criticize me for that, we have a law on billboards. And I've told APC people that have started paying, even the speaker, who by God's grace is the incoming governor of the state, I told him you've got to pay. He had pasted, his billboards in a couple of places, and the capital city went there, and they marked it run to pay. So the law is for everybody, and so they shouldn't be afraid. Nobody is stopping them from campaigning if they can campaign.
Umahi, on the one hand, you say there are no opposition, and on the other hand, you said they shouldn't be afraid. Someone who listens to you and say there's no opposition in your state, just who you call haters and spreaders, should they not be worried?
This one, should 1% of the people, constitute opposition? I have told you that I'm encouraging opposition, and that in the past I've had to spend money, to help them, stand election. But there is an operation that I told them. Some of them that are contested, I've held one position or the other. And I say, operation, post your posters in the infrastructure you build for the people. And so let me see where they will post their posters, But that is on a lighter note. I'm not stopping them from pasting their posters in a designated infrastructure we built. But it must not be on critical infrastructure to defend the capital city. So when I say there's no opposition, it means there is no viable opposition. Less than 1% of the people, position cannot constitute a threat to this governor who has built the state. Ebonyi State, and nobody can controvert that.
There are also allegations that, Ebubago, the security network of the Southeast, has been more or less misused or abused by your humble self. How would you respond to those who actually allege that you sent Ebubagu, members to attack them and in some cases flog them with cane?
Ngozi, that is a baseless allegation. Ebubagu is a curation of Ebonyi State House of Assembly law, and the law is there. And hasn't opposition complained about? They have complained about security agencies. They have complained about the people that have complained about Ebubagu. But the truth is that Ebubagu is very, very law-abiding. And Ebubagu is tremendously helping the other security agencies, to maintain law and order in this state. We all know what we passed through in Southeast. And in Ebonyi State, I will be talking about my state. There is no seat at home. And it's been a fight against the so-called unknown government, even though we know them. There are people who have taken to Mburumini and are carrying guns and killing people. And so these are the sets of people that Ebubagu, is there to checkmate. They're also there to checkmate, people that violate the law. And the law says if you violate the law, the Ebubagu has the powers to apprehend you and immediately hand you over to the police for investigation and prosecution where possible.
Because that, the issue of Ebubagu and the allegations that they are being, used by political, parties or political leaders, it does seem to give oxygen to those who argue against state police, who say that if you allow state policing, that state governors, state executives could actually use them or abuse them or misuse them against, opposition parties. Don't you think?
That is baseless, What about the national police? Why is the federal government not said to be using it against the opposition? The truth is that in some of the states, people believe, that they can stay up controversies, and that is the only way they can win election. That is not possible in Ebonyi State. Ebubagu is, the curation of law as demanded by the people of Southeast. And this is very useful in our states. Do you ask us to fold our hands as governors, in contravention to the, oath of office we took to protect the lives of the people? Those who are complaining are only those who want to defy the law. There are people that want to import drugs into the state. There are people that, are using, banditry, to embarrass the state government. And so we are not going to allow that. Ebubagu could be sued. And so if your right is violated, then you have to sue Ebubagu. There have been few cases of infraction by Ebubagu, and we had to take them to court, and we prosecuted them. So there is no way you can use, the local security people to be harassing people. It will not stand, because even those of your supporters, we know that one day you will turn against them. So we are not doing so. We have the fear of God. And remember, even though that's why I say you don't really understand divine mandate, we came on divine mandate really. And so we have the fear of God. We are not doing that, and will not do that. But definitely we'll not fold our hands for anybody to cunningly, through hate speeches and falsehood, take power from Ebonyi State. You want to take power from Ebonyi State, you have to appeal to the people. And you have to be, law-abiding. You go through the due process. If you win, sure. If you don't win, as you will not win, then divine mandate will continue to be.
Mr. Governor, I did not say I did not understand divine mandate. I was just wondering where your inspiration came from. And I mean, you are speaking because you have been on both sides of the divide, from a ruling party to an opposition party, and you understand all of this. But let me quickly ask you, Mr. Governor, before we let you go, on the flooding issue. Over 53,000 people are affected in Ebonyi State, according to the data released by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. How are you dealing with flooding in your state?
Well, it should have been much, worse than that. Like in previous years, especially within the capital city, we used to have very devastating floods, that, had claimed lives. But since we came on board, and of course, we give credit to the past administration that initiated the flood control measure, very gigantic one, and it's over 12 billion. And that job is, 99% completed. And so we didn't experience any flooding within the capital city. But towards some local governments, like, the local government bordering the big rivers, like the local government near Cross River, the local government, that are in the south, we had flooding. And we have aggregated them. We have seen a lot of devastation in terms of farmlands destruction, and the rice we are known for, the destruction. And so we are, working with the federal government on how to alleviate their problems and how to resettle them.
We'll have to leave it there. Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State speaking on the presentation of the 2023 budget of 139 billion naira, among other issues. Thank you so much for joining us.